think the last video in the 818 playlist said that it was going to be about 3 months before I could work on the car again because of a work assignment. And that was about 10 months ago. I did my 3-month work assignment, and then I had a family member who lives about 500 miles away that I was close with go through a battle with cancer and pass away. So I spent some time traveling for that, and I had another work assignment. And sometime during the summer, I did put out a video that wasn't in the 818 series about paint protection films. I bought a new truck and I wanted to do some paint protection on it. So I am unable to lay out films like vinyl wraps or the XPEL. So I tried to put XPEL on the hood and failed miserably. But I did experiment with some sprayable paint protection film, and so I applied that to my truck. You can see the hood. It's got far more orange peel than I would like, but I've been too lazy to peel it off and redo it. The rest of the truck is done in a two-tone, white and then clear below that, so everything below the white is clear. That wound up being a much bigger project than I'd anticipated, but I wanted to take it on because I want to be able to apply this to the 818. So I bought an inflatable paint booth that I blew up in the driveway. I masked the truck off and I sprayed it with the white, and then when I went to remove the white remove the masking tape to do the clear, the white didn't peel cleanly, and it shredded, so I had to rip it all off and do it again. And even the second time I did it, it didn't peel perfectly clean in spots. You can see right here, it's not smooth. I used some just vinyl stripe to cover it up. So I've still got to do some playing with that to figure out how to do it properly. When you do like Plasti-Dip, which is a sprayable rubber, you have to peel the masking tape while the paint's still wet, and that prevents the dip from peeling up. But with the sprayable vinyl, you're putting a real 2K clear coat over it, and so you can't peel it while it's wet. And so I've read all these tutorials online about you have to fold and crease your tape before you peel it, and I'm about 70% successful getting it to peel the tape off without lifting the vinyl. So that's something I've still got to keep playing with, but I was happy to have taken that project on. I did the two-tone to give it a 80s look on the truck, but really I did it because I wanted to experiment with the sprayable paint protection films before I painted the 818. So the paint protection qualities of it are awesome. You've got about 2 millimeters of vinyl, and then you've got another 3 coats of base coat clear coat, so you get a lot of paint protection out of it. And you can do it in clear or colored. So the hood below the white, that's all done in clear, and it looks just like a factory paint job, except for it's got really good paint protection qualities because of the flexibility and thickness of the vinyl. So that chewed up actually almost a whole month between blowing the booth up, spraying it, peeling it off because it didn't work right. It was actually way too hot. This is something else I learned about the sprayable paint booths. I set it up in the middle of summer in my driveway in Houston, and when it was 95, 98 degrees outside, the temperature inside the booth was actually 180 degrees. Because the booth has these big plastic windows to let light in, and they work just like a greenhouse. They let heat in but no heat out. So I had to find another place to set it up. I wound up going to my dad's because he's got lots of shade. So the truck wound up taking a lot more time than I thought it would. By then it was like summer, and the kids talked me into using my 3D printing skills that I've been using for the body panels into making Halloween costumes. And that actually wound up taking about 10 weeks to make all the Halloween costumes. My youngest daughter was Pepper Potts in the Rescue Bot costume. So that was a 3D printed helmet there for her with magnetic closures on the back. And then my oldest daughter was Jane Foster's Thor. So the medallions, the chest piece, all the medallions there, the armbands, the hammer, all 3D printed. And I was Iron Man. This is actually leftover paint. Most of it, the red and the gray, are leftover paint from when I painted the Mustang. I just had to buy the gold. That's an Audi color, by the way. Once again, magnetic closures on the mask. So all that's to say, I haven't been working on the car and just been too lazy to make videos. I haven't worked on the car. Basically, in 10 months, I think I've spent about 10 hours on it. I had one night where I had to work night shift, but they canceled one night's night shift, so I had to stay up all night with nothing to do without waking anybody up. So I did get in and put in the opto isolators to allow the blinkers and other signals coming in on 12 volts on the coach system to work at 5 volts on the Arduino. So that's all working. And then I came out one day, I had a Friday off where I wanted to get back on the car and I was gonna make a video, and I started working on a hinge for the clamshell here. And I got everything cut and tack welded, and I even designed some brackets in CAD that I had water jet cut through an online ordering system and mailed to me. And I was really thrilled with it all. And then when I took it all out and tried to do, welding on it, since it was just tacked, I didn't have a jig to hold it in place, and it all moved. And so when I went to put it back together, it wouldn't go back together. And that's just been sitting for like 4 months until I finally got out here today to work on it. So we're gonna make a little video here and show you a little bit of what I've done with the hinge. The reason I was in a hurry to make the hinge for the clamshell is because now that I've glassed the hood, the fenders, and the bumper all together, it's a very large object, and so storing it is really difficult. I've either got to leave it sitting outside in the backyard, or I've got to set it on the car, but then pick it up every time I want to move the car. It's just a huge pain in the butt. So I wanted to get it mounted to the car so that I could move the car in and out of the garage without having to take the nose off. So what I did was, as I've done before when I was lining things up, I drilled some bolt holes right through the fender there, and I can bolt it right there on the back side to hold it right where I want it. And it doesn't quite sit there, but I've got adjustment on the hinges. I've just got to get around to adjusting it. But then the hinge, all right, let's try this again. I'll open this up and see if it'll lean on that without, there we go. So if you have a Gen 2 Factory 5818, there's these nice brackets that come out and mount cleanly in here and run back to the radiator support to kind of keep things fixed and in place. Gen 1s don't get that, so I had to fabricate these brackets out here all from scratch. Those are the 3D printed brackets there. Got nice slots in them, so I can adjust up and down and in and out. This is actually a closet rod that I cut and sanded down and then welded the bracket onto. Some bearings from Ace and a piece of solid rod going through the middle. I wanted a solid rod all the way through so that the nose had to open and close together. If I'd have had two separate hinges, it could have gotten twisted and cocked, and I was worried about that. So solid bar going all the way across. The hinge has to move together. It's 2 bolts in the bottom, and then 1 coming up and epoxied on to the wall. I've got to epoxy that one on over there still. But now the nose can be stored on the car. I can move it in and out without worrying about it falling off. And so that's what I've gotten worked up right now. It's probably one Friday getting everything measured and cut and mocked up. Another not but 4 hours on a Saturday or a Sunday once the laser cut brackets came in to tack it all in place. And then probably another 6 hours today to build a jig out of plywood over there, so that I could get everything finished welded without it moving. So this thing's about to go back into the other side and go back dormant, because I've got another big work assignment that's probably going to keep me tied up through April into May. But I just thought I would make a little video here so that anybody who does care would know that I haven't stopped working on it intentionally, and I haven't been working on it and not making videos, just haven't had time. Workers are short in almost every industry and every trade right now. Everybody's short of workers. We're no different. So extremely busy at work, and it's drastically cutting into my time to work on the car. I desperately need to hit the Powerball so that I can retire and just stay home and work on my car all the time. But since I never buy a ticket, I'm never going to win. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and it'll be a while. It'll probably be summer before we get around to make another video. So any questions you have, there's a link below to the build thread, or you can post them right here in the comments.